Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Marvel's Strike Force. Today, I want to talk a little bit about the video that was put out yesterday. Now, I was not around to cover it when it comes out. As you guys know, of course, by the time that kind of the store reset, those kinds of things happen, it is very late over here. So oftentimes, I'm not going to get a chance to discuss these things until the morning, which is what I'm recording now, or you guys are asleep, while I'm recording this. But essentially, my time is just really out of whack. But there was this new content update video, which I skimmed. I'll be honest, I didn't like fully. I got my Discord members to kind of sum it up for me. I was very drunk last night when that video came out, so I didn't really have a chance. I got to the part where they talked about Sentry, and Sentry being the new Battle World boss, which I guess kind of discounts my thoughts that maybe Franklin Richards could be Battle World boss. But now we have a confirmation of that, anyways. But I also want to talk about Professor X. I want to talk about the race to X. We have 2 weeks left on this. I want to talk about this in relation to Gear Tier 20 and some other things as well. So if you're ready to go, everybody, let's boil this down. Okay, so this week's events, right, is kind of bland, really. We have Red Justice, and we have the Silver Code or whatever in the command center for Silver Sable. So I'm pretty much almost done this event already. This is the Alliance Weekly event, basically. But they've actually nerfed, for the most part, nerfed the fuck out of this. Because if you look at the rewards that you get from the different milestones, I don't know if it's in here anymore. Ooh, is this still here? It's still here. Okay, so Crimson Storm. Now, we used to be able to get this milestone 20. We can't. But look how many gold orbs that we got out of this that we no longer get. So there's 6 gold orbs, 8, so 14, 24, 36, 51. 51 gold orbs that we're no longer getting on a weekly basis. And all the purple ion stuff, right? So it's quite a bit, quite substantially. Like 500,000 ions, 15, I don't know, whatever this is, like 22 and a half of these purple orbs, more ions here actually. So a lot of resources that don't actually appear in the Red Justice milestone. There's no gold orbs actually at all. No gold orbs. No purple ions, no purple isocrystals. Credits, nothing. So there's a huge, what's the word that I'm looking for? Huge decline. That wasn't the right word that I was looking for. Huge, we're backwards on resources, to put it another way. And this is pretty bad because we don't have a main event anymore, which also would typically fuel more purple ions and isocrystals. So we're in the hole quite substantially when it comes to purple resources and also gold and probably training modules that we're no longer getting for this week anyways. But it seems that they're scaling back in a lot of ways the events, but as a result, they're kind of scaling back their resources. And I'll be honest, I did not count, put everything together because there's a lot of different crap that they give in milestones. Maybe I should just count the things like gold orbs and training mods, things like this, something that's a little bit easier and just kind of break it down that way. But I would wager 100% that we are backwards on resources this week. And is that going to carry over to next week is the big question, or is this just one weird blip? Now, I do want to talk about this training super deal. I'm not even bothering. They want you to do some outrageous shit for like 1 training orb. It's honestly really insulting. It'd be better. I'd have more fun someone spitting in my face, honestly, than like no, it's not a mistake. You can only get to milestone 10, and then some crazy offer, I think for $20 pops up, and you could pay that and get the 3,320 very specific number of training modules. I think this kind of stuff is insulting. There's another one coming around the corner for Gear Tier 20. It was data mined as well that I data mined this morning. That there's a G20 super deal coming, which is probably like, I would be shocked if you even get 1 Gear 20 orb out of it, and then they make you buy the rest of it. But it's just, this is just, it's part of the course. Let's put it that way. It's part of the course for Scopely. Now, I'm just really disappointed that there seems to be a total lack of rewards this week, and things are also just almost too simple. The command center, we have the silver code, which is fine. I've already cleared the shards. Like this, I did this in like a day. The daily objectives, that's easy to do. the weekly objectives of the teal gear radar. That should be pretty easy to do. You don't even need to do necessarily the Armory 20 orb fragments. I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's because I opened one Armory 20 orb. You don't even need the battle in Hitmonkey with Hitmonkey at 5 yellow stars. The fact that they're, I was wondering why they're giving you a quarter. So you don't even get a full one of these diamond orb fragments, diamond orbs, unless you have a 7 yellow Hitmonkey. I was wondering why they did it in this way. 5 was down here and 6 and 7's down. You don't need to do any of this stuff. Like, anyways, it's super easy, but they're only giving you 6 million gold. Now, the question is, does 6 million gold outweigh 51 gold orbs? I don't think it does. Now, because you could also get a jackpot, right? This is flat gold. And 250 training modules. Fine. Super easy to do. That's not really a big deal. And actually, it's a very... You got 100 silver stable shards in basically 2 days. It was pretty simple. So that's not really a big problem. I don't find this to be a problem. It just feels like the rest of the resources probably are not there. There's a bit of backwards going on there. Also, make sure that you're spending your X coins because that's going to be going away very soon. I have 109,000 left to spend, so that's about 8 more G20 pieces, and that's kind of where I want to pivot this to, because we have the race of X. Okay, we have 2 weeks left. I don't even know if I'm going to be getting a 3 red. Why does this matter? Well, when we had Odin, I'll be honest. I was I may have spent like at most $50 in that whole purple ISO stage. I did a lot of the leaderboards, the purple ISO leaderboards, completely free to play, just hardcore free to play. I cored a lot. I would save cores, like hardcore saving, and then only use on leaderboard events, as I often do now for the G20, but it seems the coring may have gone away for this. And I was able to beat Odin within the race to Odin, or Valhalla, or whatever it was called. And I got myself a 7 red Odin. Now, for now, if you had cleared just normally with Odin, you get a 4 red, right? So there was a difference, I guess, between 4 red and up to 7 red, depending on how early you cleared the nodes. Now, for Xavier, you're getting a 2 red upwards to scaling up to a 7. But when you clear Xavier, you get nothing. You get no red stars. So what happens after this, for anyone who didn't even get the 2, like anyone who starts a little bit later or gets into it a little bit later, are they effed? And I don't even know if I'm going to get this 3 because I need to maybe I screwed myself out of a 3. I don't know if it's that big of a deal. Maybe 2 versus 3 probably is not a huge deal, but 3 versus the rest of them is probably because I pushed Odin to gear tier 11, right? So that's Mystic gear that I could have put onto Blatant Oath, and that's my problem, I guess. That if I had the gear from Odin, I probably could have done both. And I think I have enough to do the other characters. So I could have done Punisher plus Daredevil plus Silver Sable, I think. Because my total... Actually, no, I already upgraded Silver Sable. So 75 would have got me Daredevil. And then if I got this up to 125, then I could have done Punisher and Daredevil and Silver Sable combined because she's already upgraded. And that would have been the 5 that I needed for the city section. And I think that I haven't upgraded any of them yet, but I think I have enough for I'm so close, to 3 characters. I could do Lady Deathstrike, I suppose. 3 tech characters in Global Villain. That's where I'm currently sitting at right now. And then I would have had to maybe dip into other gear sets. And I'm not 100% sure what that would end up being. Probably not Apocalypse because he's just way too expensive. But maybe there would have been a character that I could fill in. Anyways, my point is that there's 14 days left. We just got the payout, the 30, sorry, I got 30-30. The payout for the monkey business paid out. But we have 14 days left. So there's going to be one more leaderboard that comes within this, but it's a bio leaderboard. What's that going to do me? Nothing for City, and probably not Global Villain either. And when that pays out, basically Race to X is over. So which of these characters would I be using in the first 2 sections? Probably nobody. I would be upgrading Patriot, probably, would be the first character in Global Hero, but I don't think any of these other characters would make the City or the Global Villain section for sure, that I would be willing to upgrade. So I think a lot of us are probably in the same boat, right? We're sitting in a 2, maybe 3 maximum red star. And it feels like they should have extended this. Maybe that's just me, and I know a lot of this doesn't affect a lot of people. Some people aren't even anywhere near here, but I think that Odin had. Please correct me. I may be wrong here, but I thought that Odin had much more than 30 days. I thought maybe it had 60 days or something more than 30. But the amount of purple ISO that people did have going into Odin was substantially more than the amount of gear tier 20 pieces that people had for Xavier. So I feel this race to X was really bad, and the fact that you don't get any red stars upon completion of Professor Xavier Saga later makes me question as to what exactly is going on here. And I think that obviously the difference between a 2 red or even a 0 red to a 7 red or even somewhere up here is going to be quite substantial. So I don't know. I'm not liking this part of things. I mean, I understand that obviously this is not going to be a quick thing to do, but they should have given a little bit more time. I feel it odd that I might not even be able to clear the first G20 section before this goes away when, for Mephisto and for Odin, I was able to do this. Again, part of that's my fault. I upgraded Odin. Maybe I screwed myself. But, I've also pushed myself very hard in these leaderboard events. So just as a reminder, there is going to be a G20 leaderboard event for Bio coming next Monday. But then, of course, it takes 7 days. So realistically, I'm not even sure if it'll pay out in time because we have Monday is 5 days from now and then 7 days until it finishes. So 12 days. I suppose you could get this in maybe with like 1 day to spare once it pays out on the leaderboard. That's possible. So just keep in mind about that. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is, and just in the little end here, is the content updates. Now, they went over a few things here, and now that I've sobered up, I did kind of skim through it a little bit, but I'll be honest that if you didn't watch it, you didn't really miss much. TLDR, Sentry is going to be the boss to Battle World 2, and they went over, and they have it actually nicely laid out in the sections, for better or for worse. So they started off with talking about how Age of Annihilus, moving on to possible changes to Alliance War, Battle World feedback, Spec Ops coming back to Battle World 2, the roguelike game mode, and then what they felt they learned. And I'm going to say it that way because not once in here did they speak about Overpower. I guess the data's not in yet about that, but needless to say that they had nothing to say about this at this time, or maybe perhaps it was pre-recorded. Maybe like a week or two ago, and this was maybe, who knows, I don't know when this was recorded. Possibly it was pre-recorded before anything really mattered. And there was a lot of what I would dub as fluff, because I feel like it's very hard for us to get excited about new things when the base of the building is still on fire, to put it another way. I feel that we're still not, I don't have the bandwidth to think about all of these new things coming to the game when they haven't addressed some of the things that people are really concerned about, which is namely Overpower is still there. And I'm going to say it and again in today's video, right? Like Overpower for me is still a very large concern. It's concerning that we're losing quite large numbers of the player base. And, you can agree or disagree with the methods that I use to track the player leaderboards. And I understand that some people have concerns about me using leaderboards to track this, but regardless, this is the best we have. And even if you took some of this with a grain of salt, meaning that, maybe we didn't lose 50,000, but maybe we lost 25,000, right? If you're saying that it's not an accurate way to measure, there's still people being lost. Maybe without a doubt, some of them are spenders. There were some arguments being made that, this is probably all free-to-play players quitting. But without a doubt, some of these are spending players. And I've seen comments, I've seen DMs of people who are spenders who are spending less as a result of Overpower, not more. I actually don't understand how they might get some short-term gain, perhaps. That's probably what they're banking on. But I feel that there's still going to be a lot of people, both free-to-play and spenders, and real spenders. There's been a lot of real spenders who have been talking about why this is shit. And I really hope that for Scopely's sake that this pays out for them. Literally. Because I just don't see this as a good thing overall for the community. The health of the community is probably at a very low state. I'm not going to say necessarily the lowest I've ever seen it, but it's not good, that's for sure. And it's hard to be excited for things that are upcoming, like the Age of Annihilus, the changes to the store, the changes to the way that the unlock works for Quasar and the other characters. It's hard to get excited about this kind of stuff when, all these other things are kind of on fire. But hey, I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are in the comments down below, as always. And of course, until next time, I'll see you guys then. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.